Welcome, everyone, to Mindful Leadership Beyond Borders. This is Betska, the Guru Coach, together with the wonderful, beautiful man in pink, my co-host, Raj Vashisht from Delhi, India. I'm from Vancouver Island, Canada. And our guest today is Monte Wyatt. As soon as I saw
I
the
love
name,
his name because my nickname is Monty.
oh, yeah, that's right, it is. Yeah, I forgot about that, Raj. That's kind of cool. I'll have to remember to call you that, Monty, here in the future. Yeah. So let me introduce you to Monty. He's a Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestselling author, Hall of Fame executive coach, and one of the Global Guru's top 30 coaching professionals worldwide. For over 22 years, he's partnered with CEOs, executive teams, and business owners to achieve predictable, scalable growth through his proven Adding Zeros framework. Lovely name, Monty. I love that. Very catchy. Adding Zeros framework. Yes. So clearly that's something you've developed, which we'll talk about in a moment. He's based in West Des Moines, Iowa, and Monty serves clients nationwide, helping leaders create clarity, strengthen accountability, and align their teams for lasting results. He's the author of Pulling Profits Out of a Hat. Love it. Pulling Profits Out of a Hat. Go to his website and order it today. And founder of Adding Zeros Executive Development. And you can learn more at addzerosnow.com. So welcome, Monty. A pleasure to have you with us today.
Well, thank you. Looking forward to a great conversation.
Yeah, you bet. So leadership and management are needed more than ever today, and some people don't know the difference. So what is the difference, and why are they both important?
I think leadership and management have definitely evolved over the last 20, 30 years in the business world. I look at them as two different things, where the world talks about them as the same thing. A leader is called a manager is called a leader. I think there are two different things. First of all, leadership is a behavior, not a position. Leadership is all about how we treat people, how we influence, how we are passionate with focus. Where management is a role, where I view management as your role is to create competent and productive team members. So when I think about the leadership behaviors, it's how are we building trust? How are we communicating with influence? How do we gain buy-in? How do we bring clarity to our direction and our actions that we have in front of us? Those are things about behaviors of leadership. And I do believe that every person in a business can and should be a leader because they all have ideas, they all have viewpoints that they should be sharing. Everybody can and should be a leader, where not everybody will be a manager. Where again, a manager is the role where your job is to create competent and productive team members. And when I think about being a competent and productive team member, it's both hard and soft skills. It's how we teach people how to think. It's how we teach them to be best in their role, in their job. And so, as a manager, you need to be thinking about how am I developing my team to be as successful as possible.
Mm-hmm. So on that line, I'm just making some notes here. Thank you, Monty. In my experience working in the corporate world, of course, many people will move into senior management or middle management roles, and they themselves don't know how to develop teams. Yeah. And this is what can cause a lot of friction, I'm sure, right? Yeah.
And mostly
Absolutely.
forget. And mostly
Sorry.
forget when mostly people forget. I have seen the corporate world when like you are a GM, Monty is like a director, I'm like a manager. So what we thought we are the ruler in the office. This is very bad attitude actually.
Oh yeah.
I thought I'm a manager, so I have the power. I can do anything, whatever I want. This is the very wrong thing actually.
Yes.
I
Well, that's where the
absolutely agree with that. And
yeah.
that's why it's important to differentiate the two functions.
Yeah.
where as a leader, you want to engage your team. You want to be guiding them. You want to be exciting them. You're the ceiling of energy.
Yeah.
And as a manager, you're there to help them be successful. It's not about control. The world of command and control management of the 70s and 80s no longer works today.
No.
And so it's about how am I developing my team to think? How am I teaching them what questions to be asking so that they are better leaders, better managers in their function? Even as a senior management, senior executive manager, your role is to help your people develop and think differently, act differently, behave differently. And that's how you get the results that you're after.
What changes have you noticed? And I know Raj can answer this as well, but I've been in leadership positions for many years, and I've noticed a change in how people are leading and managing their people. What changes have you noticed? What roadblocks are kind of in the way there?
I think people get promoted because of the knowledge that they have. And in many cases. And
Yeah.
I believe when you get promoted, it's not just about your knowledge, it's about your people skills. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very important that people have viewed them as soft skills, how you interact, how you teach, how you communicate, how you adapt. I think those are some of the barriers that people don't believe that they need to be adapting to others. That it's all about them, that it's about their ideas, it's about how
Yeah.
they think. Instead, you need to be adapting to your team, adapting to the new style. We've got multiple generations in businesses today. And
Mm-hmm.
the more we adapt, the more we can understand how each generation thinks, how they make decisions, how they share their ideas. And I think that's a big barrier is not adapting to other people.
What have you made me think about in the US and Canada and of course Britain and all over Europe. I mean everywhere, we have different cultures and the cultural beliefs are different. Between say someone from India as Raj or someone from Iran, Iraq or wherever, right? There's the cultural differences. How do you help people overcome those cultural barriers? I'm very curious about that.
Well, I think the first thing is we have to be listening and asking the right questions. And when I say asking the right questions, it's understanding how people do make decisions. What is important to them? What drives their decision making? What drives their influence? What drives success? And I think you're right. Every culture has different answers to those questions. And the more that we understand, again, whether it's a culture, another generation, the more we understand those things and we agree on what success looks like. I think that's a critical point is we also have to not only understand, but we have to agree on what success means so we can work towards that. And I think there's so many times that we aren't agreeing on what success means, that we have different ways that we want to get there instead of understanding what the outcome is that we're after.
So, you use that word understanding, and I love that. It's very simple, but it really is true. Um, what tools, if any, do you suggest that managers use? For example, the DISC score, personality, behavioral profiles. Do you believe in those, or what do you recommend to help managers develop their team and gather that understanding?
I absolutely believe in those, and I use the DISC profile.
Yeah,
And the DISC does a great job of helping people understand how others like to be communicated to, how they make
yeah,
decisions, how they interact under pressure, and
yeah.
what their comfort level is in how they communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that a manager or a leader can understand how people like to make decisions or how they like to communicate, then we can do a better job of adapting or recognizing when conflict can occur or how we address situations when conflict happens, because conflict is always going to happen. We just have to be able to understand how to work through it. And the more we are understanding of people's styles, communication, their belief system, the better we can work through those conflicts. And I think that's a great thing for managers to understand is their people. But I also believe that the team needs to understand how their manager makes decisions. So it's a two-way street. And if it's all about how the manager does things, there's going to be conflict. If it's all about how the team does things, there's going to be conflict. So both parties have to meet
Yeah.
in the middle.
Yeah, what we've done with the disc in the past, and I really like it, is everybody does the disc, and then we invite them to, share their profiles with each other. Some people are hesitant to do it, especially if they're very domineering kind of a person, right? That go, I'm not sure I want to share who I am. But it's a wonderful exercise, so that it's not just the manager understanding the people and the people understanding the manager. It's the whole team.
Yes.
And then I've even gone so far as putting all of the disc profiles, not the people's names, but the scores on slides, so that they can see where the whole team is. And oftentimes, if there's friction, there are a lot of D's and a lot of C's, right? Very domineering and very conscientious people who have, and these two scores, as you know, have very poor people skills usually. So, which company do you use? I use the Wiley disc. Which one do you use?
I use Assessments 24/7.
Okay. All right. So that's
And what I
good.
like about theirs is it talks
Yeah.
about how you can what the person likes and what they don't like when you communicate with them. And I
Okay.
think that's a very powerful understanding. And I've even had clients put that on their desk. So when you go in and talk to them, you understand what they like, what they don't like,
Yeah.
and how they communicate and how they work with others. Because that's
Yeah.
a big part of it. If I can prepare my mind, if I can prepare my questions, my presentation,
Yeah.
in understanding how they like to be communicated to, that makes a huge difference to success.
Well, that little bit of knowledge can be very useful for a leader and a manager, right? So, very good conversation, Monte. I'm very much in tune with the work that you're doing, and it's highly necessary.
Yeah.
Highly
Yes.
necessary. Yeah.
Yes.
So, what do you think is the number one thing holding CEOs and executive teams back in today's world? That's a loaded question, but what's holding them back?
And I'll break it down to one simple word, but it's a huge concept. I believe that a big thing holding teams back is alignment. And what I mean by alignment is ensuring that they are on the same page of not only where we're going, but what culture we're creating. That it's not about one department, it's about the organization, how we all work together, how we all play a part, but
Yeah.
we're in alignment with where we're headed, what core values we're living by, how we're teaching our people to think, how we're helping them make decisions, how we work as an organization together. And that alignment is so powerful because even we may say in a meeting room that we're all in alignment on our direction, but then we all go back to our own responsibilities, our own expectations, our own
Yeah.
bonus structure, whatever it might be. And we're no longer aligned because it's about financials or it's about success in my department versus somebody else's department. I truly believe as an executive team, if you're not aligned in all of those things of direction, of culture, how we teach people, how we interact, how we treat people, it's going to be a challenge to be successful. And people think it's a strategy problem. I don't believe it's a strategy. I think most businesses have a clear strategy, but they're not necessarily aligned with it. So they're not working together. They're not implementing well enough, or they're not clear enough on how every person in the organization has a part in their function of how to achieve success.
You made me remember. Thank you for your great responses. reminded me of a story. I was asked to speak to one of India's largest corporations. They're massive, massive. And these were all the top leaders who reported to the CEO. And one gentleman had to leave early. And I said, well, sir, if you can, please come back. And I was teaching them a simple self-coaching tool that they could also use on their employees, etc. The man came back, make a long story short, the man came back at the end and I was finishing and I said, sir, I'm willing to stay for another 15 minutes and teach you this tool if you like. He said, oh, yes. So I demonstrated it on him, Monte, and halfway through, there was a silence and this man was sobbing, okay? Top rank, reporting to the CEO. And I said, sir, how can I help you right now? And he said, you're helping me a lot. He said, you are the first person in years that has wanted to and taken the time to listen to my heart. Wow. And so how is that an issue today with leaders and managers who don't listen to the hearts of their people?
You know, I think that everybody wants to be a part of something. Everybody wants to be successful. Everyone wants to have influence. But if we don't understand where they get that feeling from, where they get that that personalized success from, we can't help them get there. And I think that's important to understand. So whether it's the CEO understanding the executive team's heart of what's beneficial to them, what's most important, what their beliefs are, and if that next level of management doesn't understand the next level and the next level, it's hard to truly get that buy-in of the team that we really care about them. And I think it's not just about financial results. I think the more we care about our people, the easier the financial results come. And the more we treat our people like humans, and the more we understand who they are and who they really want to become as an individual, as a leader, as a family man, whatever it is, the more that they can share that, the more they become, the more they grow, the better the business is off. And the more success we're going to have, the more results we're going to achieve.
So basically show our people that we care.
I think that's huge. I think people are struggling that it's all about money or it's all about the financials. And it's not. It's about the people. When the people are successful, the financials show up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, we're going to take a brief pause. Folks, thank you for watching part one with Monte Wyatt. As you can see, this gentleman is hugely experienced and he's got so many solutions and answers for you as leaders and managers. So stay tuned. We'll be back for part two.